Welcome to a Business Minute with Lily Lopez, presented by the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Today we're here at the offices of Blue Mission. What a beautiful space. I never thought this was going... I thought of Blue Missions, but I never thought it was going to be something so distinct, so particular, so warm. And when you come in here, you feel peace, right? And so today I'm here with Danny Rodriguez, the CEO, and Jorge Rodriguez, Chief Growth Officer. I like the words, Chief Growth Officer. What does that mean before we start? Really quickly.
Chief Growth Officer is the person that tries to raise as much money as he can.
You're more important than anybody then, right? You're the money guy, so you're the important one here. He's the brains, and you are the one who brings the money. So it's a great combination. So thank you for this warm welcome and for having me here today on a Business Minute with Lily Lopez. And this show is presented by TD Bank.
Expected is bankers waiting for your call.
459. Close enough.
Unexpected is your banker working for you when times are tough to help your local taco shop stay open. And then showing up to order too many tacos from your business.
Thank you so much for everything. Of course, my pleasure.
She's loved those tacos since day one.
Can I get 2 dozen veggie tacos?
Yep, that should be enough for the weekend. Helping the smallest businesses in our communities. TD Bank, unexpectedly human.
Thank you so much for all of that. So tell me, what is Blue Missions? How did this start?
Yeah, so Blue Missions stands for Building Love, Uniting Everyone. And back when I was in high school, my dad, George, semi-forced me to go on a mission trip. You know, I had a service hour requirement. I went to Christopher Columbus High School, and I had to get my service hours for the year. So I said, you know what, I'll go on this trip. We can knock them all out, in 1 week.
You were 19.
I was 16 at the
16?
time. Yeah, so I was a junior in high school. And, the first few days of the trip, I was miserable. It was hot, no AC. You're sleeping in a shack. You're taking bucket showers. You're mixing cement in the summer heat.
In Dominican Republic.
In the Dominican Republic.
Después le cogiste gusto.
Yeah, so we went with a group called Life O Missions. And the goal was to build a water system in the town of Enu for about 75 families. And, a few days in, you start meeting people from the community, you start building relationships, you start seeing the fruits of your labor, and by the end of that trip, I knew I wanted to come back.
Right. And what challenges did you encounter?
Yeah, there was a lot of challenges. At the time I was just a 16-year-old, and
a child,
I just wanted
basically.
to keep going back with my friends. So I went 3 times with Life O Missions, 3 summers in a row, and then they needed space for new volunteers. And back in 2010, that's where Blue Missions is born. We wanted to keep going, our core group of friends, and we said, hey, why don't we start an organization, and now we can help 2 towns every year instead of 1. And that was kind of the goal, at age 19, just to every summer go on a camping trip with our friends and do some good while we were there. And
then you incorporated this as a nonprofit organization, right? And you came up with the name? Because I love that name, Blue Missions.
It was a group of us around the table, and we had talked about a few different names, and blue, people think the color of water, and then we had the acronym, because at the core what our mission does is, we're taking our youth from here, from our local community, to go partake in the construction of these systems and live an experience where, we're building love and uniting everyone, that it doesn't matter, what the color of your skin is, what religion you practice, what language you speak. All that matters is, we're all the same. We all feel the same things. We love, we cry, we have the same emotions. The only thing is the situation we were born into. And we firmly believe that everyone deserves access to clean water. And that's
of course,
that's
absolutely. And prior to the show, we were talking about the importance of that so many nations, rich nations, that do not provide clean water to their people. And I don't want to name the nations. We already talked about it, but it's unacceptable. And I really feel very proud that you are members of the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and what you're doing is an amazing and incredible job. And so what does that do? Okay, Danny, what is your job in Blue Missions?
Yeah, so, Danny convinced me about a year and a half ago to quit my corporate job and join Blue Missions. We're obviously very proud parents to have all of our children go through this process, and how Danny and his oldest sister were the founders of Blue Missions. And, after Danny kind of tugged away at, Dad, please come. We need your experience, what you've done in the past to try to help grow Blue Missions. We did a lot of soul searching, a lot of praying, my wife and I. She looked at the financials, said, okay, maybe we can do it. And then I made the decision to join Blue Missions right before coronavirus.
So that was the
Oh,
shop.
so that was your starting point?
That was our starting point.
So he
Just,
was 10 years, but this is, relatively new. So tell me about COVID. How has it been for both of you? And Blue Missions and trying to do what your mission is, practically to go to Dominican Republic and help the people.
Made things very difficult. You know, COVID definitely threw a wrench into our plans. When we bring on my dad, you know, it's because we're ready to scale. You know, we had a model that we wanted to give every single high school student throughout the United States the opportunity to participate on projects like these, and that's why we bring my dad on. And when COVID hits, you know, obviously we can no longer travel. We can no longer go into these communities and construct these systems. So we were in panic mode. We were nervous for a bit, but you know, thankfully we've had a lot of growth over the years. We've been able to, you know, have reserves in our accounts, as well as qualify for some of the support that's been offered to nonprofits during the pandemic. And thankfully, we think we're coming out of it now even stronger than we were going into it. So we're looking forward to getting back to the field, to the campo.
And when do you anticipate being able to travel?
We have groups scheduled to travel this upcoming summer. We took our first group about a month ago to work on a project in the Dominican Republic. And this summer, we have over 300 volunteers signed up to partake in these projects.
And tell me about the new program, Cause Class. What about that? Cause Class.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that name, Cause Class.
Yeah,
Tell
so
me about that.
part of the COVID situation was, you know, the famous word of pivoting, right?
Pivoting.
We had to figure out in a short period of time, what are we going to do? And one of the things that was developed with these young kids was the idea of having an online learning program. Because our projects are to also allow young men and women to come and get community service hours by going on our trips, we developed an online program that focuses on the United Nations Sustainable Goals.
Beautiful.
And if they take that program, they're able to get 20 community service hours. So we've always had the dream in the back of our mind of having an educational program to try to reach schools in different ways. And this sort of period of time of COVID allowed us to develop that program. So currently we've got over 500 students that have taken the course.
Is it Miami-Dade County Public Schools or private schools or both?
You know, we are offering it throughout. We've got very good relationships with Academica, with the charter schools, as well as the Archdiocese of Miami. So those are the main two areas of schools and students that are taking it. But now we've even gone to levels of offering it to universities as well as some middle schools. So it's an opportunity to start planting the seeds in young students about what the needs are around our planet, and hopefully that will lead them to maybe wanting to do something in the future, like go with us on one of these volunteer trips.
And tell me about World Water Day. You know, I didn't know about that. You see, you always learn something. You think you know, right? You think you studied. You think you graduated from university. I didn't know about World Water Day, March 22nd. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to start by the statistic we use. There's 785 million people without access to clean water. That's 1 in 9 people on this planet.
1 in 9. That's a very high number. Should not be.
So there is a day dedicated to this, to bring awareness, and that's March 22nd. And one of the things that we've been working on is a short film that is titled Blue is Not a Color. And it's going to be a 20-minute documentary on the history of Blue Missions from day one to current. And it will explain a little bit, you know, how it all started, as Danny explained, what COVID did to us, and what we want to do going forward. And we're going to be able to premiere that short film on March 21st. We're going to hopefully...
How long is the video?
It's 20 minutes long.
Oh, we'd like to share it with our members, if you allow us to.
Yes,
we would love to.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then on that March 22nd, which is Monday, we'd like, hopefully, even, you know, some of the companies that are part of the chamber, if they want to put it on their websites, if they want to use it with their employees, because there is a need to bring more awareness to this. We live in a country that we have everything.
We have everything.
You know, and suddenly about a month ago in Texas, everybody realized that water was quite important, right?
Exactly.
When you had 14 million people for 10 days not have access to water. Here are 785 million people that have that same problem every single day of their lives. And hopefully this film will bring awareness to that, and people will be more conscious of what that is.
Absolutely. And before the show started, we were talking. I remember when I went to Caracas, I was a very young, I was a student also, like you, when you started this organization. And I remember seeing Los Cerritos, las lucecitas, right? And I would ask them, my parents, and they would ask their friends, because we had friends in Caracas, and they would say, oh no, Los Cerritos, where the poor people live, they have no water, they have no electricity, hardly anything. And I would say to myself, how could a country that is one of the richest in the world do this to its people? And now it's even worse, of course, with communism, and I don't want to talk about that because this is not a political show, but we do need to bring, awareness of the fact that, even if it was a democratic country, it wasn't serving the population, just like communism doesn't serve either. So we need good leaders. We need people like you, people who care about the environment, who care about the population, who care about the needs of the people in general. And it's not anything to do with political affiliation or with anything, but I remember at that time it caught my eye, and it's not acceptable for a country that's supposedly democratic, and there's many others as well, and you have so many people that don't have access to water, to clean, clear water. How could that be? So I really commend you, what you're doing in the Dominican Republic, and I know you will expand, because this young man has an incredible future, and with the dad that you have, I mean, wow, what next? I mean,
Great team.
Tell me more plans before we finish the show.
Yeah, I think something that's important is that at the root of everything that we do is we want to connect people to purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of your videos. You seem to enjoy what you do.
Yes, I do.
You're passionate about what you do,
About
right?
everything, yes.
And
absolutely.
there's such a difference when you do what you love every single
With
day.
passion.
And that's our message to our volunteers.
Exactly.
Find what you're passionate about, and then figure out how to use that talent,
Mm-hmm.
that skill, that passion to make the world a little bit better. And that's what Cause Class is all about. It's about introducing our youth to all the global issues that exist. Because
they
for
know,
us,
right.
clean water is what captivated us. And I've been fortunate to build this organization with 3 of my best friends. Our team we were teenagers together, and we said, hey, we can't believe that people don't have clean water.
I know.
Why don't we do something about
Exactly.
it? And then that's where kind of it all started.
Yeah, and at this day and age, to think that there's people who don't have clean water.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah,
can't
but for
believe
someone else, it might be homelessness. It might
Homelessness.
be food poverty. It might be, it could be anything.
Drugs.
Climate change.
Yeah.
It could be drugs. It could be anything.
Anything.
And we just want to help people understand that, hey, you can create the life you want to live.
Exactly.
Find what you're passionate about. Find what you're great at.
Exactly.
And then at that intersection is where you're going to find
That's
purpose.
where you're going to find your purpose. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so very much for being on our Business Minute with Lily Lopez. I've had an incredible time here today with all of you. So thank you so much.
What is a blue trip like?
One of the biggest challenges early on was our age, and the interpretation of young people.
Those are a bunch of kids.
It was laughing all day, every day. But when it came down to working, we were very serious about it.
We were a very, very small operation, but we were pretending to be big, that's for sure.
The growth just kept coming.
We believed in what we were doing so much that we knew we were going to get to what we were going to get to.
I felt like we made it.
Sold out 3 trips in 3 minutes.
In February of 2020, we were preparing for our biggest summer yet.
We were going to have the most trips ever.
And then we start hearing about COVID-19, and we began to plan on how we can survive as an organization.
That moment of, is it time to panic, turns into, what else can we do?